Welcome back for another episode of Coffee with Kelly to go. And this is a day. This is a moment. I am looking at her. You can't see her yet, but I have been waiting for this day for, I would say, 9 years. I remember going to the Palm Beach County SHRM annual conference in 2015. And this young woman was the headline keynote speaker opening up the conference that day. And I sat in the audience when I had a spark within me just beginning to spark. And I was wanting to become a speaker. And there was this young woman up on this stage delivering a keynote that just stopped me in my tracks. I sat in that audience and I remember saying to myself, wow, I aspire to have the presence that this woman has on stage, to have the authenticity that she has on stage, and to have a way to tell my story the way that she has one day. And sometimes, if you ask for things, you might get what you ask for. And I am blessed, over the moon, and just over caffeinated today because I had 2 cups of coffee. I did. I have the incredible Jess Ekstrom here with me in the studio, and I cannot wait to share this conversation. So, Jess, are you out there? Come on in.
I'm here. What an intro. And I forget how far back
Yeah,
we go. I remember being so nervous at that Palm Beach County SHRM event because my parents were there. I don't know if
really.
you saw that, but I was like, oh my gosh, my parents are here. I distinctly remember because we went and got acai bowls after, but and that's one of the things I love about speaking is like, it's these connection points with people that like you and I maybe never would have met, and you never know how far it's gonna ripple. And so really, really awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's such a treasure to have you here. And since you are on Coffee with Kelly, we have to start with tradition. I have heard, I've read it a few times, I've seen it on some of your social media. Tell us, you're a coffee connoisseur, right?
Oh, like to the max. But I do have a very strong opinion about coffee that I wonder maybe we could start with.
Mm-hmm.
I love coffee. However, I cannot do iced coffee. It has to be hot. Doesn't matter if it is 100 degrees outside.
I hear
My
you.
coffee will be hot. And I've noticed that this seems to be quite the controversial take.
It is.
And I'm curious your opinion on this, Kelly.
It's funny. I can absolutely relate with you. I do not like iced coffee, but I will share something. I was at a speaking engagement in San Antonio last week for the PGA. And I remember after this, I wanted to treat myself. I said, I'm going to go and treat myself for my favorite coffee. I love to find a local coffee shop. Found this wonderful local coffee shop. And I go to order, like, my order is usually a hot latte, non fat with cinnamon in it. Like, I'm simple,
Ooh,
but
love that.
disciplined. So I saw the menu and I see this, it says orange vanilla. And I'm like, ooh, that's a combo. I'm like, that sounds really good for a latte. So I order it and I'm so excited. And then the barista brings me my coffee and it was ice, Jess. It was ice. And I was a little
Mm.
taken back because I'm like, oh, I don't do iced coffee. So I was a little disappointed, but let me tell you, I can be a fan of that orange vanilla iced latte. And
Interesting.
that was the only
Converted you.
time I really have ever had an iced coffee because I don't really like it like that. But I'm a fan of that one.
Okay, I will keep an open mind. But my best friend Kate and I, we literally have debates about this because she is iced coffee all the way and I'm hot coffee. But I will keep an open mind for an orange vanilla iced coffee. I will try it.
Okay, if you do have it, let me know. But there's usually the debate of Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. That's the one that I get into a lot. I don't know, but last May I did Coffee with Kelly with Johnny Taylor, the CEO of SHRM, and he is a full-on Dunkin' Donuts guy, and I'm a full-on Starbucks girl. Do you have an opinion on that?
I usually am Starbucks,
You're
but
Team Starbucks, yeah.
I like Dunkin's breakfast. They have
Oh,
good breakfast
yes.
options. Yeah.
Yes, actually, Jacob in the studio here, he is shouting, "Go Dunkin' Donuts, go Dunkin' Donuts." But yeah, I'm a Starbucks girl at heart, and Johnny was a Dunkin' Donuts guy at heart. And so there was this big debate of which team are you on? And it went on for like a whole 30 days on social media. We had a
You
blast
never
with it.
know what hill people will die on. It's quite surprising.
I know. So, as part of Coffee with Kelly, I always want to start off with a theme for our conversation. And I know this is going to be such a great and a fun conversation because you always make me laugh. Just some of the things, like I noticed some of the things you share in your speaking engagements. And one of the things that I remember in that keynote that I heard you say, and I'm curious what the answer is now, but you were talking about how you were frustrated that there was not, I think it was a wonton emoji back then. Do
Gosh,
you remember
yes.
this? Okay.
That is such a throwback, but yes, keep going. Yeah.
So I remember you saying there wasn't a wonton emoji. So one of the things I was just going to ask you is, did they ever come up with the wonton emoji?
Yes, it was a story. Her name was Jenny. I can't remember, but like I was telling the story about her because she was frustrated that she was like texting her friends to come
Yeah.
over for Chinese and that she wanted to put like a dumpling emoji and there wasn't
Yes.
one. And as an Asian woman, she really wanted like it was just like hamburgers and French fries
Yeah.
emoji. She's like, there should be a dumpling emoji. So she wrote to like the board of whoever decides. Not only did she get them to do a dumpling emoji, she somehow like joined the board so she got to like
Get out.
oversee food and beverage emoji creation. And
So there's
so
an
I
emoji board, like an
there it was
emoji board.
and this was a long time ago. So I don't know where it stands today,
Yeah.
but I remember hearing her story and just thinking like, wow, in my we call it inspiration from frustration. Like when you're
Mm-hmm.
frustrated about something, it's usually breeding grounds for inspiration. And that was just such the perfect example of you never know what exists out there, that there is like a board position for emoji consideration, and two, what happens when you just get a little loud and say, hey, we should have a dumpling emoji. And I just loved that story.
It was a great story. And hey, women get it done, don't they?
Ain't that the truth, Kelly? Ain't that the truth?
Women get it done.
Yeah.
So our theme of this conversation will really tie into with something that you have inspired me around. And it's kind of a word that most of us don't talk about, but it exists in our lives. And so our word is overachiever. And just
Hmm.
when I say that, just let's sit on that for a second. When you hear that word, Jess, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel proud, tired, a little bit attacked? Like, what does that make you feel?
Yeah. I would say the word overachiever is when I think about it, it makes it feel to me like you're doing it for someone else. And I
Yeah.
think it's because of the word achievement in there has such like an external connotation to me. It's like overachiever to prove yourself to others. Overachiever to get the gold stars. But but I like that exploration because I am a recovering overachiever.
Yeah.
Um, One word that I do like though, that's pretty synonymous is over deliver. Like I like um
Mm,
kind of a secret sauce as like a
yeah.
speaker or as a business owner is to give them the promise that they want and then always go like one extra step that they didn't expect. And so maybe I the overachiever part is one that I'm trying to maybe not be so externally driven, but over deliver is something that I really pride myself on.
It's well said because I think we all are a bit of an overachiever within, whether we admit it or not. I too am. I don't know if I'm recovering yet because I fight with it all the time. I
Hmm.
just it's the pursuit of perfection. It's so
Hmm.
hard to let that go. And I think it's evolving within me. I don't know how this is within you, but I think you're right, where we're trying to overachieve for other people instead of achieving for our own calling, whatever that is for us, our purpose. And so I think that perfection is so embedded, at least within me, where I want to do
Mhm.
a good job. I want to serve whoever I am, speaking for, working with, or celebrating, whatever that is. But sometimes I take it so personally that if I make a mistake, I failed.
Mhm.
So does that make sense to you?
For sure. And I think when you're wired to be ambitious, which you
Yeah.
are, which I am, which a lot of these listeners are, I think that you always have something on the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
something that you haven't accomplished yet, something that you want to do. Maybe it's moving up at work, maybe it's a book you want to write, maybe it's a stage you want to speak on, maybe it's a TED talk you want to give. And so the fact of like having something that isn't complete yet, that you're ambitious towards, inherently makes you feel behind. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel like you're at a deficit. It's like, well, I want to get a TED talk, but I haven't given one yet.
Oh,
And
yes.
so, but that is like a natural part of an ambitious person is to never be done and to always have something else that they're chasing, but it can also drive you crazy.
It can.
So it's so much of like my work now in this book or what I'm personally working on is how do I be content with where I am now and still ambitious about the future. Like wanting more for my life or my job, my career, my business does not mean that I am less.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting topic that you bring up with overachieving
And
because
that
it's something I work on all the time.
and that is one thing. I've had the pleasure of getting a preview of your book, and this episode is being shared during your book launch week. So
Yes.
first of all, congratulations. It is
Thank you.
book launch week for Jess Ekstrom. This is your third book, right?
Oh, good question. Yes, it is my third book, which I also, but this is the first time I am doing I don't know if I told you this before, Kelly, but um publishing a book with an imprint that I am starting.
That is
Um
incredible.
and so I also like the message of the book is meaningful to me, but the way that I'm publishing it is also maybe even a little bit more meaningful to me. And nothing against traditional
Yeah.
publishing or how I publish Chasing the Bright Side or Create Your Bright Ideas, but the process itself was so just waiting to be picked, like waiting to feel like someone thinks
Mm-hmm.
that you're good enough to do this. And those books did really well. I could have definitely gone back and gotten another traditional publishing deal, but I just didn't like the feeling of that experience of doing it for like someone else's
Mm-hmm.
standards or approval. And I get that that's probably the a right move for a lot of people out there.
Sure.
But I'm like, man, I really want to do this in a way that feels really fun, feels really creative, uh, and a way that maybe I can help other women get their books published as well without waiting to be picked.
Yeah.
Um, so the mic drop imprint, like publishing this is also super meaningful to me.
I, I can only imagine and just relish in this moment. Like I'm sitting here just thinking, wow, what does it feel like to have your own publishing imprint, to have your third book coming out? I mean, what does that feel like for you, Jess? And when do you think about overachiever when it comes to this third book? Like how do you connect that with this
Yeah.
message?
Um, I've launched a lot of things,
Yeah.
Headbands of Hope, mic drop workshop. When you launch something like a book or
Yeah.
it feels so personal. And I
Yeah.
was just talking to my friend Selena Rezvani about this right before. I'm like, why do I feel weird about
Mm.
shouting this from the rooftop? And it's what I tell all the speakers I work with in Mic Drop Workshop. It's the same advice, but I have to now give it to myself. It's like being in this thought leadership world as a speaker, an
Yeah.
author, whatever you're doing, it can feel like you're promoting yourself,
Yeah.
but you're not. You're promoting your ideas and your
Yes.
message.
Right.
And so I have to get out of my head that I am asking people for favors, that I am asking people to read my book. It's like, no, here is the value that I believe it delivers. And
Yeah.
then you can decide if it is a good fit for where you are now. But there's such a shift that has to happen for me mentally to start promoting a book that I wrote,
Yeah.
because I really have to get out of my head that it is about me. And I have to get out of my head that the numbers and the lists and all of like the shiny things that come along with a book
Right. Right.
are the like make or break stuff, because they're not. Chasing the Bright Side was such a slow burn.
Yeah.
Didn't make any lists, it didn't do anything, but it went on to sell like over 100,000 copies over the years.
Wow.
Um, but those first 3 months I felt like a failure because it didn't get
Mm.
any of those shiny badges, you know? Um, and it honestly, the publishing experience made me feel like those first 3 months are where books lived and died. And I thought that
Yeah.
book died, and it clearly didn't.
Such a good book,
Um,
though.
oh, thanks. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And so that, push like focusing on the value, not selling myself, and then also not getting in my head about shiny things that happen with book
Yeah.
stuff, and knowing that it's a win no matter what.
It's true because I can personally, just being vulnerable here, I can say I aspire to have a book. I have not done that. And I want to do that. So I feel like I'm failing as a speaker
Mm,
because I don't have the book. Is it holding me back from getting on more stages? And there's nothing preventing me from do it other than getting out of my own head that will it sell? Will it be good enough? Will anybody even want to read it? And so I think when I think about overachiever in this point of our conversation, I'm thinking, wow, I celebrate what you're doing. And I'm here saying, gosh, I wish I could do that too. Maybe
mm,
I'm not good enough. So it's like that overachiever starts to play in
yeah.
where it takes over. And I know there's a lot of women out there that are dealing with this. And I'm sure some men deal with this too. It's not that they don't. My husband
Yeah.
deals with this stuff sometimes.
When you
But
start comparing yourself to
yeah,
other people,
yeah,
how do you personally get out of it? What do you do?
yep, yeah. It's hard. It is really hard. But there are things that I really aspire to do that make me question. Like, I know a lot of people, well, if I haven't done it, does that mean I'm not good enough? And
Mm,
I think that's what stops a lot of us, is
mhm.
because we fear what we haven't done yet. And does it mean that we're not good enough? So when you think about the book
Mhm.
and it being released this week, I'm halfway through it, so don't spoil anything for me. I'm halfway through it. But what do you think was the most vulnerable chapter for you to write?
I'll answer this, and then I want to go back to,
Yeah.
actually, can I answer,
Mm-hmm.
if I haven't done it yet, then that must mean I'm not good enough, because I think that's an
Absolutely.
interesting
Absolutely.
thought. Um, I think in the age that we were living in, and this is just uh for anyone that might be like sitting on an
Yeah.
idea, or am I good enough? We have so much access to information, to
Yeah.
answers through AI or wherever. And so the thing that is going to make us stand out, the thing that is going to make, which also leads to your second question, the things that's going to make you successful is going to be the most deeply human elements of you, which
Yeah.
includes your imperfections. So I am like trying, with my podcast or my like videos, like I'm trying to not use a teleprompter anymore, because
Yeah.
I think that that is going to make uh like it's the video will do better if I mess up,
Yeah.
because we have access to perfection everywhere.
Right.
And
Right.
so if this like perfection standard is getting in the way of you pursuing something,
Yeah.
I actually think like your doubts and insecurities and your stories and everything around it is going to be the thing that actually makes it successful, not the thing that puts it in the ground. Because I used to always think like, well, if I mess up or if I do something, then that's going to be, I'm going to like blow my cover, that people are
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
realize I'm like full of it or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, that's the thing that's makes me me. And that makes me different than ChatGPT or wherever people are
Yeah.
getting their content from. Um, so I just want to say that. And then that goes to the question about like what was the most vulnerable part to write in this book. Um, Admittedly, this book took me a while to write because I think once you've already done the book, Chasing the Bright Side was really easy for me to write because I
Was
didn't
it?
have any expectations. It was my first book. I wrote it for me. I
Yeah.
wrote it like what I wanted to say. And then when you know how books work, then you
Yeah.
write. It's like you almost have to stop being the editor and the agent while you write. Because I was like, well, how is this going to translate on stage when I speak at companies and da da da. And I found myself really editing myself along the way.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, this isn't going to do well if I am writing this book for the stage or writing it for everyone. And so
Yeah.
I really had to stay true to the reason why I started writing it and started doing it under my own imprint, which was to just be totally honest about my experience of making it without losing it. And that includes a pretty tough story of my uncle being Bernie Madoff and visiting him in prison, which I was really visiting him in prison for years.
Wow.
Which one, just like the admission of my uncle, like, uh, is tough enough. And then the um idea that I didn't want people to think that I was like endorsing his behavior by
Sure.
having compassion and visiting him in prison.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's still something I'm scared about. I'm not gonna lie. Like the book is just coming out, and I'm like, uh-oh, what kind of can of
I
worms is this gonna
saw
bring?
that. It's in the
Yeah,
early chapters, and I
it's in the
haven't
early
gotten
chapter,
to.
probably for me because I wanted to get it over with, and then I wanted
Yeah.
people to think about everything else
But Jess, you drew
afterwards.
me in. Like I'm not in the chapter where you really talk about it, where I'm reading yet, but I was like, holy cow, I didn't know this about Jess. I
Mm,
had no idea. And I can imagine how vulnerable that made you feel. I mean, this was years ago and you're
yeah,
now just sharing it. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, but I found that even like when I do share stories,
Mm-hmm.
I just started kind of putting him into my talks on stage,
Hmm.
and people all have something that they have thought that they should hide that they
Yeah.
realize has made them who they are. Whether it's a divorce, whether it's, you know, something in their life that they're not proud of or maybe feel some shame around
Yeah.
that hearing this part of it. Um, so I would say that was probably the toughest one to write, but I think like if we're really being honest with ourselves as authors or speakers
Yeah.
or whatever you're even just as a friend, it's usually the stuff that is too the tough stuff to write is usually the ones that you should share.
Right.
But I also tell people who are whether you're speaking, writing, or creating content, like share things when they're in their rearview mirror, not in their driver's seat. Like this happened in
Mhm.
2008.
Yeah.
I have processed, I've gone to therapy, my family's in a
Yeah.
great spot. Um, but I have seen sometimes people share things too soon when
Sure.
they're almost processing it on stage or with people. And
Yeah.
that can be really tough to do and
Yeah.
also unadvisable. And so I made sure that when I am sharing this, I'm coming from a point of like reflection and not
Reflection.
processing. Yeah.
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 Smart. Because there's so many lessons you probably learned from that. And it's not a feeling of like anger or, sadness. It's really what did you learn from it? And how can you use that lesson to move forward in your life? So I
Hmm.
appreciate that. I really do. And so if that was the most vulnerable chapter, tie this into overachiever.
Hmm.
I struggle with this. Do you feel, based on where you're at in your life and in your career, and you've done a lot of things very successfully, do you feel that it's harder to start building something from nothing or to take something that's successful and take it to the next level? I want to hear what you feel is harder.
Such a great question. And the Winter Olympics happened this year, and there's this quote.
Yes.
Um, I'm forget the name of the athlete. I will find it so you can include it in their show notes. But she was like, I train like I've never won and I perform like I've never lost. And I was like, oh, that is so good. And in my
Yeah.
talk, I talk about the underdog mindset, which asks, like, how can I make it? And then a champion mindset, like, how do I maintain it? And it's these like two different sides of our brain and our motivation that we're pulling from. It's like, I feel like the underdogs, when you're building something from nothing, I love that season.
Yeah.
I've noticed this in my companies, like, uh, the blank slate to like the 2 or $3 million mark
Yeah.
is where I thrive. Like I love a
Yeah.
blank canvas and building something. And then the scalability beyond that,
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of start to fizzle a little bit. And that made me fire myself as CEO at Mic Drop Workshop. I was like,
She's out of here.
I'm out. I am reclusing myself or whatever they say, and hired a CEO, and she's amazing. And I'm chief creative, and that's what I love
Yeah.
to do. But it took a lot of internal reflection to be like, why do I hate scaling
Yeah.
this company that I created, that I love? And it's because I don't love what's required of you in to as CEO when you're in like scale mode. And
Yeah.
I love what's required of me when we're in growth mode. So now my job at Mic Drop is like being like the entrepreneur within the company. Like I created, we exist to help women get paid speaking engagements. But I also realize like there's this huge gap of women that just want to practice public speaking,
Hmm.
learn public speaking, the
Yeah.
crafts, the tools, the performance of it, that aren't having success in other kinds of groups or meetups. And so last year we created Mic Drop Club, which is like a women only public speaking
So
club.
good.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And so it allowed me to almost be that zero to something without having to just like start over a business.
Yeah.
Um, so to answer your question, uh, I think I just realize I just love to build. And maybe that comes across as like someone who might be a little bit scattered. I've talked about that with like my business coach before because I'm like, I know I could probably be more successful if
Yeah.
I just focused on one thing, which I've gotten a lot better at. But I also recognize that I'm just someone who really loves the process of creating. And that is, I talk about that kind of like love story and making it without losing it. It's like, well, what if you just love the game?
Yeah.
What if it's not about like something bigger than the process of like loving it? Like, I feel like Caitlin Clark isn't there because she needs like one more, championship or whatever. It's like she just really loves basketball. Like, um, so I think letting yourself like love the game
Mm.
is super helpful when it comes to having healthy ambition versus like an anxious kind of ambition.
Yeah. There's a mentor of mine once called it entrepreneurial paranoia. I don't know if you've ever had heard that term yet, but I'm with you on the build. Like give me blank canvas and let me build. That's my zone. That's my strength
Mhm.
truly. But where I really struggle as well is the scale, and I'm in the
Yeah.
midst of that right now, and I find it extremely frustrating.
Mhm.
And it happens every January. Like there's a pattern I've picked up. I don't know if this happens to
Is it
you as
because
well.
you're trying to measure yourself based on last year?
100%, just
Yeah.
100%. So every January, it's like I'll have a really good year the year
Yeah.
before. And usually just being an overachiever, let's be
Yep.
honest, let's call it what it is. I'll achieve more than what I thought I would. And then January comes and it's like pressure. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. And there's nobody putting pressure on me. That's the thing.
Right.
It's all internal. There's nobody, I'm not working for anybody that's saying you have to meet your numbers, you have to do this. It's all internal. But that entrepreneurial paranoia comes in because it is, you want to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And I feel like just stuck sometimes. And I know I'm not alone in that.
You're not alone in that. But I think like if you have the ability to put the pressure on, then you
Yeah.
also have the same ability to take the pressure off.
Amen.
And
You're right.
so it's so tough though. I would call it like the January scaries. You know, some people
Yeah.
have the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
Same thing would happen. It's like all of a sudden you're just like working your ass off.
Yeah.
And then you feel like it just goes to zero. And it was
Yes.
almost like
Totally.
everything you did didn't
Yep.
matter. And you're just
Yep.
like, well, then how are you going to beat it?
Yep.
And I would have the same thing. And so I wonder, you know, with you, like there's kind of like different kinds of goal setting. There was a study that's really interesting that took they studied tech companies and noticed that when companies would reach some sort of big thing like an
Yeah.
exit, uh, you know, a product launch, a metric like a revenue milestone, that motivation would like drop off. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, we reached the thing. And then, but what about the companies that when they would reach the thing that they kept building and growing, and it was a
Hmm.
change of mission? And so they
Yeah.
looked at Google, and
Huh.
Google, it was like instead of we're going to create like I can't remember how they said it, like we're going to create the knowledge processor or something. It was like a very finite goal.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to like we are going to be the world's place to process information. And so it was instead of making it this like singular,
Yeah.
I did it, it was like a mission that's always evolving.
Huh.
And so I try to think about that for myself. Like it's good to have these finite goals to know you're on the right track. But if
Sure.
they are the end all be all, it can get really draining. And so, you know, we want to help. We just put the numbers to paper, but like there's a certain amount of women that we want to help every year get paid to speak.
Yeah.
But it bigger, we just want to help women earn more and do more through public speaking. And so like that mission is always expanding and never done.
Sure.
And so I try to think about that every January because it can be super annoying to be like, okay, now I gotta start over. So I get it,
Yeah.
Kelly. Yeah.
Totally. And so the book, Making It Without Losing It,
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you because your mom, you have two little kids. How old are your
Yes.
children now?
One, and then my daughter just turned 3. So we are
Need more
in it,
coffee,
Kelly.
Jess?
Yeah, I do. I do. Hot only. Yeah.
So when you think about making it without losing it, what does that look like at 7:30 p.m. in your house?
Oh my gosh.
Let's go there.
I
Mom
it
life.
it is my husband doing a full Broadway performance of Frozen for my
Oh, Jesus.
daughter to go to bed. It is me putting my son to sleep, usually singing Wheels on the Bus. And then we crash. Like we have all these aspirations at the beginning of the day. Oh, once the kids go down, let's go on the porch. Let's have a bottle of wine. Let's look into each other's eyes and talk about life. And I'm like, I can't even formulate a sentence after these kids go to bed. And so we've recognized
Oh,
like
gosh.
we're in a season of life. Actually, when I was at the Maxwell Data
Yeah.
Grow event, um, Dr. John Deloney, you know, was also one of the other
Yep.
speakers. I was there with my husband, and that was like I was about to have Jack, so we were about to be because I was very
I
pregnant at that
remember
event.
you were about to
Yeah,
pop, Jess.
I was
You
about to
were.
pop. And I was like, you know, how do we as a couple kind of stay strong when we're so exhausted and, you know, just building and my husband also works for my company and so we're building a business and John was like, what if you just kind of took the pressure off being like a strong couple right now and just recognize this season
Mhm.
is going to be really tough and then it's going to get easier. But like,
Yep.
stop trying to be, you know, like the strongest version that you guys have ever had because it's just not going to be. And I've told John Deloney that that was like such a pivotal point in our marriage where we like kind of started taking the pressure off a little bit and being like, yeah, see at 2 a.m. when one of the kids wakes up and we'll rock, paper, scissors, who does it. Like that's just where we're at.
Yeah, it's living in the moment. And it
Living
is
in the
so
moment.
hard. I mean, it is really hard to just see what's happening in the moment when we are overachievers because we keep thinking, are we missing something?
Oh
So
my
I can
gosh,
totally
yes.
relate. I really can.
Especially
I'm,
as a mother right now
oh
with
my
um,
goodness.
it's like, oh, well, my kid, we do a Montessori method where they, make their own
Yeah.
eggs every morning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, should my 3-year-old be able to scramble eggs at this point? And there's no hate to anyone that is
Right.
sharing that, but there's so much guilt and doubt about
Yeah.
yourself and who you are. And should my kid be doing this? Should I be doing this? Especially as a mom who travels too for speaking, like,
Sure.
um, it has just given me a whole lens on life, womanhood, women at work,
Mm-hmm.
um, that I just didn't have before.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they will change you. I'm in the teenage years. So you just
Hey, tell me,
wait what's coming.
tell me about that. Tell me about the teenage years. What do
It's very
I?
expensive. Let's just start
Okay.
there. And you think you worry about your kids when they're 1 and 3. Like I used to worry about them like falling down, getting hurt. And
Yes.
the level of worry just shifts when they start
Yeah.
driving.
Oh
It
my gosh, I
is
cannot
just
even
a whole
imagine.
different kind of worry when they
I
start
literally just felt
dating.
like my
Yeah.
heart beat faster when you said it than when they
Yeah.
start driving.
Yeah. And that you are not there. And I think I've almost tied it to it's such a great leadership lesson around empowerment when you have to be in the passenger seat with your 16-year-old that's learning to drive. You literally have to empower them. You have to let go. You have to just let them find their way. You can't take control and you just have to get out of the way because you're going to cause more stress for them. So it's
Mhm.
really helped me be more empowering, I would say, just in general in my life, because I've had to learn how to let go. And it's really hard, Jess, really hard.
Yeah, that is I've learned from other people, including you, that like it doesn't get easier, the hard just changes
It does.
in
Yeah. It's all right.
parenting. Um, and so every time I feel like, oh, I got this, it's like then they have like a brain like leap and now they're like my daughter's asking me to like explain everything to her and she's really into princesses right now. And so like last night I'm trying to explain like, the storyline of so many princess books is that they were ugly and now they're beautiful because they have a dress and they have a crown and a bunch of makeup. And, my husband and I are like, that you're beautiful without these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm like, this is we're in like an explaining phase right
Sure.
now, which is so different from the task phase of like eat, sleep, change diaper,
Yep.
make sure they don't jump off, the
Yep.
counter, like just all of that stuff. It's just like, wow, now I'm explaining something to you.
To- Absolutely understand. Absolutely. So I think we're gonna have a little laugh for a second because one of the things I wanted to ask you, we're both speakers and we go to many different conferences to speak with our messages. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment on stage, Jess? Like, and
Oh
when
my
you think
gosh.
about it, what has been your most embarrassing? Because I want to hear, I always feel like, am I the only one this kind of thing has ever happened to?
Oh, I mean, the list goes on. I have tripped going up the stairs to the stage where I'm pretty sure everyone saw my Spanx that I was wearing. I have just like totally blanked and forgotten where I was going with something. Um, I have v- plenty of times made jokes that just didn't land. Um, you know, I'm better at this now, but like I have like tried to get audience participation that just like didn't happen because I didn't warm them up appropriately. Like,
Oh, yeah.
but it is Oh, the list goes on. What about you? What is your cringe?
I have two. So the one I remember most was 2 years ago. And I'm someone, they usually will bring me in to open up because I like to get the audience like ready for the day. And I love to open up a conference. So I remember I was speaking, it was a farm, some type of farm bureau. And it was a tougher audience. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Because
Yeah.
I've just not grown up on a farm and I was doing my best to kind of lift the energy. And so I remember I came in from the back of the room. I had music up. I love my walk up song. I came up and I wasn't looking because I was high-fiving people in the audience and the confidence monitor came into play. And Jess, I walked right into
Oh
it
my gosh.
and flipped right over it. Jess,
Oh,
seriously.
Kelly. Oh my
I
gosh.
and
But
what
I
do
could
you
so
do?
easily see how that could happen.
Yeah,
It's
you're
such an
just
easy
not
thing
paying
to do.
attention because you're trying to focus on the people
What
and
did
then
you
all of a
do?
sudden
How did you
there's nothing
recover?
else you can do. You just get up and you keep walking like nothing happened. And you just start the keynote.
Oh my
I
gosh, you're
died.
a champ.
But
A
I
champ.
it like sets the tone. Everything you're
Oh,
talking
for
about
sure.
overachiever inside. Oh my God, you
Yeah.
failed from the moment you even started speaking. And then
But
the other thing,
I bet that the audience felt so connected to you. Like
I don't know.
I feel like, oh, she's human. Like that is, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you that you just kept going and did
What
it.
else are you gonna do? Yep. What else are you gonna
Oh
do?
my
The
gosh.
second one, I will not forget. You know how we get the lavaliers?
Yeah.
And some of them turn on automatically when they turn them on, and some of them we have to turn the button on
Yes.
to get the audio. Well, I quickly stepped out to just do a quick bathroom break before my keynote, and the audio was on, and
Mm.
I didn't know
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
so the whole audience heard me pee basically.
Oh my gosh.
So
That, I'm
these are
sorry, that's not
moments.
your fault. The AV should have gotten that. The AV should have gotten that. Also, I
Oh
know
my
plenty of
God.
speakers that that's happened to.
Oh
And so
God.
I have such a fear of going to the bathroom, even if it is unplugged, the lavalier.
Yes,
I'm like,
I'm freaked out
oh,
now.
yeah, I
I
know, I
totally
know.
am.
Oh my, I
So
just
what
love that you're sharing these too. Like, what a great way to just level the playing field and empower people. I love it. You've also inspired me. Like, we should create a series. It's like
we should.
your most embarrassing speaking moment. We talk
Totally
about
it
this
would.
in Mic Drop Club a lot because so much I think of like the fear of public speaking is imagining what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like you experienced two major fears that people have,
Yep.
tripping and falling and people hearing your audio when they shouldn't have. And you still did it and you're still here. And so I actually think it's beneficial for our nervous system and our fears
Yeah.
to think about what could go wrong, name it, and say what you would do after it. Yeah, I would just get up there and say, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let's do this. Like, and we are so much more resilient than we give ourselves credit for.
Ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. And for my next act, a keynote. Yeah.
Standing ovation
Yeah.
before you even start. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So it and
exactly.
I wrote this down because in your book you talk about oh well. And it was one
Mm-hmm.
of those oh well moments. What are you gonna
Oh,
do?
well.
You
Yep.
just gotta keep on going.
Oh my gosh. It's so, the part that you're talking about, it was this like older woman that I met at a conference. Um, and it was like a very young, conference. And I noticed that she was kind of on the outskirts of it. And so once we were like in conversation, I said, do you ever get uncomfortable at these events?
Yeah.
Being, one of the older women here, which I recognize that sounds super rude, but I promise we were like deep enough to where we could go there. And she told me, she's like, sometimes I do get those insecurities or doubts, and I just say, oh, well, and keep
Oh
going.
well.
And it just stuck with me because usually we try to make everything mean something, or we try to give ourselves a pep talk, or we try to like, give like all of this story to something. And this idea of, oh, well, it just overrides the jerk reaction to like talk to ourselves and have a narrative. It's just like, oh yeah, stuff happens. Oh well, I'm the oldest one here. Okay. Oh well, I tripped over the monitor. Okay, let's keep rolling. Not everything has to be as big as we might make it in our head. And so I loved that from her.
Yeah. Nobody's watching us
Oh,
anywhere
as
to the
close as we
amount of
think we
time
are.
that we think, if at all.
Yes. I give the example of like we all participated in a spelling bee when we were kids.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes, I'm sure. Do you remember the word that you got out on that you misspelt?
I cannot. I was the eighth grade spelling bee champion in my
Oh, so you were
district,
deep in
and
it. Yeah.
overachiever, Jess.
Yep.
I couldn't even tell you what the word is.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Mine was magazine. I remember, and now
Oh,
I've like can always spell magazine. And it's like a lot of times we remember the word that we got out on, but no one remembers the word you got out on. They'll remember their
yeah.
own word, but they won't remember yours.
It's so true.
And it just reminds me, it's like, yeah, people were not like, oh, one strike for Kelly, or like, it's just they're thinking about their own word that they're not going to be able to spell.
That's true. We do. We think about ourselves all the time, but nobody else is
Hmm.
thinking about us
Yep.
at all. So, one of the big things that I think I'm really excited about is I told you it's a full circle moment. I saw you speak in 2015 at the Palm Beach County SHRM annual conference, and it is 2026. And this hasn't really even been shared much. So, like, we're going to just put it out
Let's do
there.
it.
But, ladies and gentlemen, I have had a dream to have my Live to Lead South Florida conference just really take on another level. As an overachiever, I always want to raise the bar. I do. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could have an amazing speaker in the room this year to give us an amazing message live? And Jess Ekstrom is going to be the keynote speaker in the room at Live to Lead in October this year. Jess, I I
Kelly,
don't
I
even know
am
what to say.
so excited. From the moment we started talking about this, I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
this is going to be
Can't.
incredible. And you bring together such amazing people. Um, just love what you're building and what you've created, and so honored to be a part of it in October.
It's going to be it's going to be epic, I would say.
It
Or
is.
as the youngsters, the Gen Zers say today,
Yes.
it is going to slay, Jess. It's going to
And come
slay.
come there, debate me on hot coffee and iced coffee. Let's do it. I would love it.
I'm going to give away a ticket. So if you're watching this podcast, two things you're going to get. You're going to get a signed copy of Jess's new book, Making It Without Losing It, and a front row seat to see Jess speak live on October 16th, 2026 at Live to Lead South Florida. So if you want this amazing package, you got to listen. You got to drop the name Jess Ekstrom in the comments on the podcast, wherever you're watching the podcast. And you've got to recommend 3 women that need to watch it as well if you feel this episode really inspired you. So, Jess, are you with me on that? You think we can fill the
Let's
room?
do it. I would
We can do it.
love it. And
We
reach
can do
out to
it.
me. I can't wait to hear from you.
We can do it. So, if you were to give the audience, as we close this episode, one thought around what they will get most from your book, what would it be?
I hope what you get most from the book is like zooming out on your life, um, as it's much bigger than like maybe the snapshots of our day. Uh, it all ends in like this is maybe a little heavy, and Kelly, you haven't gotten to this part of the book yet, but in the end, I make you like write your own obituary. It's like how you
Oh,
want to
what?
be remembered, and the things that you want to do, and just like recognizing like we just have one shot at this.
Mm,
And so I hope it's just
so
kind of
good.
like a moment for you to zoom out and say, am I living the life that I want to look back on? Um, because it can be really hard to like have that permission to do when we're in like just the day to day. And then I also created this like AI, it's called your success fingerprint coach that you get when you get the book.
Yeah.
And it is helps you create like your core values, a like your micro habits that you want to do,
Yeah.
what's important to you, and really just kind of it's an AI chat bot through the book that helps you just kind of like put your success plan together.
Wow, I love that.
So when you get the book, you can go to my website and then I think you just have to like say you got it or so. I honestly don't remember, but and you'll get the success fingerprint coach with it.
That's you've gone above and beyond. You have over delivered.
There we
As we
go. There
said,
we
you
go.
over
What a
delivered,
great
Jess.
callback, Kelly. I can tell
Yes.
you are good at this. Yeah.
No, Jess, I'm sincerely so proud of you. I really am. And like
Thanks.
I said before, I'm not alone in this. There are so many people, a lot of women out there, but men too, that just admire you and what you and your husband have been building. You have an amazing
Thanks.
husband, by the way, and I know
Thanks.
that's a big part of, what's gotten you to where you are. I have the same type of situation, and it's a
We're
beautiful thing
lucky.
when we have support like that, isn't it?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I,
And I want to thank you, Kelly, really quick. Like,
yeah.
I was not all that in a bag of chips in 2015. I don't think that I'm that way now, but the fact that you have stuck around all these years when, I was definitely testing and figuring it out in 2015 just means the world to me. And so, and that the fact that you're bringing me to your conference, like, I just really appreciate you believing in me all these years. And I'm just so glad that we've stuck with each other.
Absolutely. So high five to you. High five
High
for
fives.
sure. Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Coffee with Kelly to Go. We'll see you soon on the next one. Cheers.